Okay, so I guess we're going to do this again. A few notes before we get started based on recent comments that we've had on some of the other videos. A, I am not a chef. I have no formal training. I've worked with some extremely talented chefs and have owned a couple businesses that had food service, but I am not formally trained and make no qualms about it. Everything that I've done, I've learned from watching people, and more so than that, making stuff that wasn't good and learning from that. And if you get anything from this, that's what I hope you can take away. Don't be afraid to experiment, and don't be afraid to fail, because you will learn something every single time. That being said, I do not plan these. I literally put our groceries away 5 minutes ago. The stuff that you see on this table is stuff that I just found at the grocery store that was on sale. This particular preparation is a little more decadent than we normally go. And the only reason that it is because I caught the seafood guy putting the swordfish away, and he didn't want to box up 2 last pieces of swordfish, so he gave them to me for $5. Based on that, this is probably $15, $17 worth of swordfish. We would only normally buy this in a special occasion, but for $5. So then I went to produce, which I had already walked through, and found a package of sliced shiitake mushrooms that were $2 off because they expired yesterday. So shiitake normally very expensive, in the $7, $8 a pound range. We normally eat button or baby bellas, which are $2 a pound.
Whichever one's 2 for
Right.
$4.
So this is a little more decadent than normal, but everything I have on this table, total, probably about $10. If you were to get this in a restaurant, at least $25 to $27 per plate. So I'm going to throw this together. Understand that when I started shopping today, I had no plans as to what I was going to do. I found some packages of pork chops that what I thought was going to be dinner, and then I stumbled upon this, and I happen to know the seafood guy a little bit because I buy seafood there. So he told me that if I wanted the last 2, he'd give them to me for $5. So here we go. What do I have on this table? I have some Anaheim peppers. These are a mild pepper. These were on sale, $2.99 a pound. This is going to be not as hot as a jalapeno or nowhere near as hot as a habanero. Medium heat. We're going to roast these in an extremely hot pan and try and get a char on the outside. And we're going to make a salad out of these.
How do they compare to a poblano?
Depends on the poblano, because
besides the really hot ones we got that one time.
Similar, very similar. Not quite as meaty, little lighter. We have a lime, standard. We have parsley. And one thing I would say, as you've seen in the last couple videos, if you have the means, and this is something that I would recommend, a bunch of parsley and a bunch of cilantro in your fridge makes a huge difference. Fresh herbs, granted, are more expensive, make a huge difference in making dishes pop. They not only add some color, because you can garnish with them, which, honestly, I'm not going to lie, the difference between a lot of dishes in a restaurant and a lot of dishes you make at home is a little sprinkling of crap on top that makes it look a little green and fluffy. That's it. But more on that later. Shiitake mushrooms. Big umami flavor. And for those of you who don't know what umami is the 6th taste. What a lot of people refer to as the 6th taste.
So the 4th.
No, so you have sweet, sour, bitter,
salty,
5th taste, and umami. Sorry,
somewhere
5th
in the
taste.
middle.
It's what is anchovies or truffles or a really nicely juicy cooked steak. It's that savory, just flavor. Shiitake mushrooms are a really good source of that. Inaki mushrooms are also. That's why you'll see me sometimes use anchovy paste to get that flavor imparted. You can also use shaved bonito, which is a small shrimp-like crustacean that they use in Asian cooking. We also have some blue potatoes. These were on sale. It was like $2 for the whole bag. I've taken 7 of them here. I've punched a few holes in them with a fork. I'm going to microwave them to save time. If I had more time, I would boil them or roast them, but I'm going to microwave them to soften them up, and then I'm going to finish them in a pan. So let me get that going. What are we doing here? I've turned the oven on very hot, and you'll see why in a minute, but it is very hot. I might have just had a potato explode. I did not, so we're good. Cast iron pan. Get yourselves a cast iron pan. Probably the best cooking utensil I have.
And if you can't afford one, find a grandmother that has 10 extra in her house.
Go to a garage sale. Seriously. Okay. Swordfish. Fatty. It's got a lot of fat to it. It's got a lot of meat to it. This is all there. And I'm going to pair it with peppers. Peppers traditionally have a lot of flavor. They're kind of bursting with flavor, especially if you get hot peppers. And these are definitely going to have a tiny bit of heat to them. Like I said, not like a jalapeno, but definitely some heat. So, after I went to the grocery store, I stopped and got a bottle of wine that would go with this. This is called Ravage. It's a Cabernet. It's dark. It's very intense. It's very deep. This should pair well with both of these dishes, especially when you add the shiitake on top. That's going to bring it out nicely. This is by Ravage Wines. We've had some of their other stuff before. This is pretty tasty. It's not my absolute favorite, but it's pretty good. So we're going to take and liberally salt the swordfish. As we do with all meat, the salt's going to bring the flavor out. Pepper. Tongs. Flip these over. We're going to let him chill out there for a minute. All right. So, these peppers, I'm just going to cut the ratty part of the stem off. I'm going to leave them whole. Okay. Okay. Right into the pan, whole. We want to get kind of a char on there.
How hot is that pan?
Hot.
All the way up?
All the way up. All right. Okay, potatoes that are hot. Okay, we're going to let that go for a minute. Again, because my kitchen is not level, we have to turn them. Okay. Ooh. I don't think that's really hot. Now, you can do the potatoes ahead of time.
Oh, those have a really neat smell. Those have a really neat smell.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of pepper off of them. Okay. This is parsley. We're just going to take some parsley. Right? I'm just going to cut this up just to get. Okay, I'll leave that there for now. Okay, see that? That's what we want. We're going to flip them over. You're gonna get a little bit of char on both sides. My oven is really hot. Not sure what you're doing, but okay. When you char the outside of a pepper like this, and a lot of times you'll see, can I show you? Yeah, so a lot of times in a restaurant, or you might not even see, chefs will have a little torch like this. See that? You can actually use this to do the same thing and char the outside of a pepper. It sweetens it a little bit when you do that, okay? I just lit it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to pull these off. I've got a good little char on both sides. We're going to set these aside for a second. Now we're going to take our swordfish and we're going to sear it on both sides. Cast iron pan, and I've said this before and I'll keep reminding everyone, hot. Just don't grab it because it will burn you so badly. Someday maybe I'll actually straighten out the stove so I don't have to do this. But.
Well, when you get your char broiler and they cleaned out that half wall, the problem will be solved when they do the levels.
Okay, so we've seared both sides of our swordfish. Now we're going to take the peppers. We're going to throw them back in the pan. Okay. Now, peppers, swordfish, everything right in the oven. Okay, now, we're going to finish the rest of this. Okay, frying pan. Oil. Very small onion. We're going to let that go. Once this gets a little hot, a little bit of parsley, a little bit of aroma going, we're going to take our small potatoes. Okay. We're just making a little starch dish. It's just potatoes and onions. It's going to be something to serve on the side. Right before I finish this, we're going to take a little pat of butter. The olive oil is good. The butter will give it a little bit of a pop. Potatoes, onions really go well with butter. We're not doing anything fancy with this. Just trying to bring those flavors together. Now, if I had a commercial stove, I'd get that a lot hotter. I don't, so we got to deal with what we have. But ideally, I'd like to have that hotter than it is, because I'd like to get a good little sear on it. But you can still do it. It just takes a little longer. Okay, the swordfish in the oven, not going to take very long. I'm trying to get these to come out about the same time. Pat of butter. We're going to finish this up. We're going to throw it in a bowl, let it sit for a minute. Let that butter just kind of...
It's accurate.
Now, you're going to say, seems like you're going to use a lot of butter. Yeah, no, that's not taste good. Okay, so, just throw a little extra fresh parsley in. We're going to give that another toss, and it's going to come off. Right? Like I said, we're going to let this sit in this bowl. The potatoes will continue to soften up a little bit. All right, this is going to come off. Another pat of butter, is we're going to finish this now. Like I said, I know it seems like a lot of butter, but trust me on this one. Okay? Now, once that butter starts to melt, peppers back in the pan with the mushrooms. Just going to kind of let that all come together for a minute. Just let that sit in its goodness. Some lime juice. Now, if you can't tell, I'm totally winging this. There's something wrong. Okay. Toss this around just a little bit. Okay, we're gonna plate it. So, piece of swordfish on each dish. Starch. A little bit of lime and the swordfish. We'll call that one done.
You want to high five that?
Don't be afraid to try stuff. I have no idea. This was not how I envisioned this starting out, but it's where we ended up, and it'll be awesome. So every time you make something that doesn't taste good, you learn something to not do next time. So